This week, we go behind the scenes of one of the coolest jobs at Lucasfilm.
Plus, we talk to the president of ILM about the making of Solo.
Star Wars!
This is the Star Wars Show! From the Lucasfilm headquarters in San Francisco, here's your hosts, Andi and Anthony!
Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Show, the only Star Wars show that is brave enough to say that the totally original, never replicated red Millennium Falcon shirt is dead.
It's all about the blue Millennium Falcon shirt now.
And now the news.
You ball up your red Millennium Falcon shirt and you throw it into the sea.
Harper, you have to go change now.
Yeah. Why are you wearing that old shirt?
It's wearing red? Ugh.
Ugh. Star Wars Secrets of the Empire, the immersive hyper-reality experience from ILMxLAB in the Void, is adding a bounty to your head when you complete the experience.
What does that mean exactly?
It means you're on the run now, baby!
You're on the lam. Well, for starters, when you finish, you'll be given a wanted poster with a bounty for you, complete with an Imperial transmission sent to your email from the Empire detailing your personal achievements in the experience.
These achievements can be shared on Twitter and Facebook so you can compare them with your friends.
For more on this new element being added to the experience, check out StarWars.com.
And speaking of StarWars.com, wouldn't you know it, they have landed not only an excerpt from the adaptation of Solo, A Star Wars Story, but a clip from the audiobook as well.
The book, written by Mur Lafferty, is an expanded edition featuring expanded, deleted, and all new scenes from Solo, A Star Wars Story.
The excerpt StarWars.com has wasn't in the film and follows Han during his time with the Imperial Navy flying with the Onyx Squadron.
You can read the excerpt or listen to the clip voiced by Mark Thompson at StarWars.com right now, and you can pick up the full copy when it's released on September 4th.
If the Empire hasn't caught you by then, you criminal. Finally, this week, there are a lot of cool jobs at Lucasfilm, two of them being our own, in our own humble opinions, but there are people inside the building that have even cooler jobs than the two of us.
Here's one of their stories.
Laugh now, because soon you'll be behind bars.
I know, I'm just getting it in while I can.
Well, I always say, you see that spaceship that's, in the foreground flying towards us? I didn't do that, I did the one in the background. I'm Steven Zavala, and I'm a senior concept artist at the ILM art department. Every time you see something on screen that doesn't exist, somebody has to think about it at some point and design it. That is basically my job, to come up with ideas that we would eventually see on screen depending on the necessities of the script or, the sensibilities of the director. I am originally from LA, but I was raised abroad in Mexico City. And the first time I applied here, they rejected me because my portfolio wasn't good enough. But I took all the feedback into consideration. I said, you know what, I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna try again. So I spent a whole year just practicing and then redid my whole portfolio, send it again, and it worked out in the end. And they were like, sure, do you wanna come aboard? I have two biggest contributions that I really feel proud of. The first one being for Rogue One. When we finally get to Scarif, we see what we call the Citadel, which is the Empire stronghold where we hold the Death Star plans. And that was a very long project that I had to work with a lot of amazing artists. My art director gave me a lot of freedom to explore, and he was like, you know what, let's make it the meanest headquarters of the Empire and let's just have fun with it. And the second one, which was for Solo, A Star Wars Story, it was designing the engine of the Millennium Falcon. And this was an amazing project that I had a chance to do because it's basically touching this iconic spaceship and just contributing a little bit into it. So I was really excited to be part of that. Working at the art department, it is one of the best things that ever happened to me. It is absolutely challenging and you have to be on top of your game. The work part's one thing, but collaborating with all these amazing artists, that is probably the best part. All the experiences and all the knowledge that I've learned from all my peers, I don't think that is something that I would trade off that easily. This is literally making movies, and what else is better than this?
Please say hello to Bredow, visual effects supervisor on Solo and head of ILM. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
So you're fresh off of giving the keynote address at SIGGRAPH 2018. At SIGGRAPH, you announced your new book, Making of Solo. This is the first time that we've done a making of book where someone working in the film has also been making it at the same time as visual effects supervisor. How did that color your approach and your time on set?
I always, actually this camera, I always carry this camera with me and I use it for visual effects reference. We take a ton of pictures pictures for the people back here at the studio so they have context as to what's happening in all the shots. But I realized in so many cases on Solo, I was the only one in the room with a camera, and these things were happening, like we were designing Rio or designing L3 or walking into a set for the first time and no one was there capturing it. So in addition to the kind of the normal job as a visual effects supervisor, I started taking some shots and looking at them at night and going, this is kind of amazing. Like nobody else has these photos. Just as a fan, I was excited about building something with it. And my first inclination was maybe I'll just build a little book and give them out as crew gifts or something.
Which would be amazing.
Which would be super fun. And then someone said, if you're going to build a book, talk to Kathy about it. So I talked to Kathy Kennedy and she looked at some of the photos and she's like, oh yeah, we've got to do something with this.
Obviously being on set during the making of a show like this is very inspiring, but what other inspirations did you look towards when you were making this book?
For me, when I was a kid and I first opened up the making of book for Empire Strikes Back and saw that shot of Phil Tippett where he pops out of the snow and is animating the AT-AT, that was one of those moments where I was like, that's how they made that. And I saw how the magic came to life and I was like, if ever I could do that, that would be the kind of thing I'd love to do for my whole life. So when I was on set and I saw these moments happening in front of me, I had to pinch myself that I was actually standing there and getting to be a part of it. I was also hoping to create one of these pictures and these images that would be that image for somebody else.
One of the things through the book that I really enjoyed was the comparison between these large-scale solutions to these problems, like the 360 LED screens, and then the small-scale ones, like what you guys did with the coaxium.
Yeah, it's amazing. So the coaxium, the actual stuff moving around inside that prop, it's actually built on a real physical thing that is jet fuel. One idea was you could have somebody in a green suit standing behind the prop with a magnet trying to animate it in real time, but we realized that wasn't actually going to be very practical on set. People are running around with these things. So we came up with this idea that we could photograph that, do some visual effects work to find the best moments of the puppeting of the ferrofluid and assemble it into a long, like 30-second clip. And then we stuck that into an iPad, and the iPad actually fit inside the coaxium container. The prop team had this great idea of making a lens, and we tried different lenses, but it was a curved lens that fit over the top of the iPad. So as you looked at it from different angles, it really looked like it was inside the coaxium tube.
You made another announcement at SIGGRAPH that's sort of feeding off of these changes in the industry. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your project with open source.
Just this week, we announced the existence of the Academy Software Foundation, and we've combined to make the Academy Software Foundation that is now going to host some of these core open source technologies for the film industry so that we can have a long and healthy future to look at how we can make a healthy environment for these projects.
So anybody could access this for free, teach themselves how to use these techniques.
Exactly. Go and use the tools, and if you see something in the tools that need to be improved, you can actually just go right onto the Academy's website, submit a change to the tool, it can build automatically and be available for the next developer, the next user. And if you're a developer who wants to get noticed by ILM, what better way that is there than to go onto that site and go like, I see a little bug in OpenEXR, I'm going to go ahead and fix it. This is how we're going to meet people in the future, is we're going to see the contributions people are making online, and that's might be one way you could get your foot in the door at Industrial Light and Magic.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming by. It's super cool. And that book is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Really, really good job.
So much fun to get to make.
I'm Matt Martin. I'm part of the Lucasfilm Story Group. Before that, I worked for StarWars.com and Star Wars Social Media, where I got to see a lot of cool Star Wars fan creations. Now I'm here to give you some tips from somebody who's seen a whole lot of examples. A good tip is make it your own. When George was working on Star Wars initially, he incorporated all kinds of cool influences that were important to him. When you're making a Star Wars fan film or any sort of Star Wars fan art, don't just look at Star Wars. Look at the things that inspired George, and also look at the things that inspire you. There's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of other entries, and you need to make your entry stand out. Keep digging deep, think of other stories, tailor it all together into something special and something that is your Star Wars story and something that is so unique that only you can tell it. Have you seen Rogue One? Not all Star Wars movies need a crawl. They just don't.
You're watching the Star Wars show.
With summer drawing to a close and back to school sales giving people well into their 20s and 30s like me crazy stress flashbacks, we thought it would be a good idea to find out how you spent your Star Wars summer vacation.
Dee retraced the steps of Rey and Luke on Skellig Michael Island. I love these photos.
They're
and
very
Daniel Russell took his R2-D2 back to Tatooine via the original set locations in Tunisia. One day I will get there.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
Tom Franson went to Naboo, or Spain. Galaxy 1977 braved 122-degree heat with his Jawa in Death Valley, while Jeremy brought Rose along to Rome.
Plus, Amanda checked in with BB-8 bobbing in a pond, Dewbacked with a Dewback taking a dip, and a lot of people taking selfies outside of our building. We just want you to know we were waving to all of you.
Thanks again to everyone who submitted this week. They were really fun to look at.
And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, talk to us on the community tab on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and remember to drink at at least 8 glasses of water a day.
Thanks for watching, and may the force be with you.
People don't hydrate enough.
Hydration's key.
You get tired around 3 p.m. and you're like, why am I so tired?
It's because you're dehydrated.
It's because you're dehydrated. They got 2 of them! Ah! We got 2 of them in the house! Look
You
at
guys
these.
come out here, show the world what you guys have done. This is real.
It's real.
This is real.
They didn't get the memo.
This is real.
Apparently I didn't get the memo.
Yeah.